When we talk about success, most people immediately think about talent, skills, connections, or even luck. While all of these can play a role, the real foundation of success begins in the mind. The way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act shapes the results you experience. Positive thinking is not about ignoring reality or pretending that life is perfect. It is about choosing to focus your mental energy on possibilities, solutions, and opportunities rather than obstacles, fears, and limitations. The mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, negativity, and fear, you will harvest hesitation and failure. But if you plant seeds of belief, confidence, and optimism, you will harvest growth, progress, and ultimately success. Positive thinking gives you the ability to see beyond your current situation. Many people get stuck because they only see what is in front of them, and if that happens to be failure or struggle, they assume that's all there will ever be. But those with a positive mindset look at challenges differently. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How can this situation make me stronger? Instead of letting difficulties define them, they use difficulties to refine them. When you think positively, you don't deny that problems exist. You simply refuse to give them more power than your potential. A positive mindset also has the ability to influence your emotions and actions in powerful ways. For example, when you believe in yourself and expect good things to happen, your body language, tone, and energy naturally shift. You approach opportunities with confidence instead of hesitation. You speak with conviction instead of doubt. This shift often attracts the right people and opportunities into your life. People are drawn to those who carry positive energy because it gives them hope and encouragement. On the other hand, negativity repels progress. If you constantly focus on what could go wrong, you'll hesitate, procrastinate, and ultimately miss out on chances that could have changed your life. Another important truth is that your mind cannot hold two opposing thoughts with equal strength at the same time. You cannot be filled with faith and fear simultaneously. You cannot dwell on success and failure in the same breath. One will always outweigh the other. That's why training yourself to choose positive thoughts is crucial. Just like going to the gym builds physical strength, consistently directing your thoughts towards positivity builds mental strength. Over time, it becomes a habit, and once it becomes a habit, it becomes your natural way of living. The greatest achievers in history, from inventors to entrepreneurs to leaders, have all credited their mindset as the key to their accomplishments. They faced rejection, failures, and setbacks just like everyone else. The difference was that they didn't let those moments define their future. They kept their thoughts aligned with possibility, and that allowed them to keep moving forward until they succeeded. Your mind is your most powerful tool, and positive thinking is the key that unlocks its potential. When you make a conscious decision to see the good, to believe in yourself, and to focus on solutions, you give yourself the gift of resilience and persistence. Success doesn't start with what you have. It starts with how you think. Change your thoughts and you change your life. Reprogramming your mindset for growth means making a conscious decision to let go of old patterns of thinking that hold you back and replacing them with beliefs that push you forward. Many people are trapped in cycles of limitation, not because they lack talent, resources, or opportunities, but because their mindset is fixed on the idea that things cannot change. A fixed mindset convinces you that your abilities are permanent and that failure defines your identity. But a growth mindset, on the other hand, empowers you to see failure as feedback, effort as a pathway to mastery, and challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. The difference between the two mindsets determines how far you will go in life, because growth is impossible without change, and change begins in the mind. The process of reprogramming your mindset begins with awareness. You have to identify the limiting beliefs that are running in the background of your mind like invisible software. These are the voices that whisper things like, "I'm not smart enough," "I'll never be successful," or "people like me don't achieve big things." These beliefs often come from past experiences, the opinions of others, or repeated failures. If you don't challenge them, they take root and become your reality. To grow, you must first recognize these mental barriers and question whether they are actually true or simply a story you've been telling yourself. Once you shine light on them, you weaken their hold. Reprogramming also requires a shift in language, because the words you use shape the way you think and feel. For example, changing "I can't do this" into "I can learn how to do this" transforms the way your brain approaches a task. Language acts as a powerful programming tool for the subconscious mind, and by choosing words of possibility and progress, you retrain your brain to look for solutions rather than excuses. Over time, this new language creates new patterns of thought, and those new thoughts produce new behaviors. Another key element of reprogramming is embracing discomfort. Growth never happens in your comfort zone. If you want to develop new skills, reach new levels of success, or create a better version of yourself, you must be willing to step into situations that challenge you. The discomfort you feel is not a signal to stop. It is a sign that you are expanding. Every time you push past the urge to retreat and instead lean into the challenge, you strengthen your growth mindset. You begin to realize that failure is not the end of the road, but rather a lesson pointing you toward a better strategy. Surrounding yourself with people who think differently is another powerful way to reprogram your mindset. Your environment influences your beliefs more than you may realize. If you are constantly around negativity, doubt, and mediocrity, you will absorb those patterns. But if you place yourself in environments of encouragement, ambition, and possibility, your thinking will elevate naturally. Growth-minded people push you to expand your vision, challenge your excuses, and demand more from yourself. Ultimately, reprogramming your mindset for growth is about choosing transformation over stagnation. It is about refusing to let the past dictate your future and instead building a mental framework that supports continuous improvement. When you commit to this process, you unlock resilience, creativity, and an unstoppable drive to succeed. Your circumstances may not change overnight, but your perspective will, and that change in perspective becomes the spark that ignites progress. Growth is not something that happens by accident. It is the direct result of intentionally shaping the way you think, and when your mind evolves, your life evolves with it. Fear and self-doubt are two of the biggest barriers standing between people and their success. They creep into the mind quietly, convincing you to play small, avoid risks, and settle for less than you are capable of. Fear whispers, "What if you fail?" while self-doubt adds, "You're not good enough to try." Together, they can paralyze even the most talented and ambitious individuals. But the truth is, fear and self-doubt are not signs that you cannot achieve greatness. They are signals that you are standing at the edge of growth. Overcoming them is not about eliminating fear completely, but learning how to act in spite of it. How to silence the inner critic long enough to give yourself a chance to win. Fear often disguises itself as practicality. It tells you to wait for the right time, to gather more evidence, or to avoid stepping out until everything is perfect. But waiting for the perfect moment is another way of letting fear run your life, because perfection never arrives. Successful people are not fearless, they are courageous. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward even when fear is present. Each time you take action despite being afraid, you weaken fear's grip and strengthen your belief in yourself. The more you practice courage, the more natural it becomes. Self-doubt, on the other hand, comes from questioning your worth and abilities. It makes you compare yourself to others, focus on your weaknesses, and discount your strengths. The danger of self-doubt is that it convinces you not to even try, and if you never try, you guarantee failure. One way to combat self-doubt is to shift your focus from outcomes to effort. Instead of obsessing over whether you will succeed or fail, commit to giving your best effort and allowing the process to teach you. When you measure yourself by growth rather than perfection, you gain the freedom to experiment, to learn, and to keep moving forward without the crushing pressure of needing to be flawless. Another powerful way to overcome fear and self-doubt is through preparation. Fear often grows out of uncertainty, and when you prepare, you reduce that uncertainty. Whether it's preparing for a speech, an exam, or a business opportunity, doing the work in advance equips you with confidence. Confidence is not built on empty affirmations alone. It is built on repeated action and preparation. The more prepared you are, the less room there is for fear to dominate your thoughts. It is also essential to manage the voice inside your head. Everyone has an inner critic, but you also have an inner coach. The critic tells you what could go wrong, but the coach reminds you of your capabilities, your past victories, and your potential. You have the power to choose which voice you will listen to. By intentionally feeding your mind with positive affirmations, uplifting books, motivating speeches, and supportive people, you amplify the voice of your inner coach. This constant reinforcement helps you replace fear with faith and doubt with determination. Most importantly, overcoming fear and self-doubt requires action. Fear thrives in stagnation, but it loses power when you take steps forward, no matter how small. The act of moving, making the call, applying for the job, launching the idea, breaks the cycle of hesitation. Each action gives you evidence that you are capable, and that evidence builds confidence. Over time, you begin to realize that fear is not a wall stopping you, but a shadow that fades the moment you step into the light of action. Fear and self-doubt will always try to visit you, but they do not have to control you. The key is to acknowledge them, confront them, and then move forward anyway. When you do, you discover that the life you want is always waiting on the other side of fear. Focus and mental discipline are the cornerstones of lasting success. In today's world, distractions are everywhere: social media notifications, endless entertainment, constant noise, and the pull of other people's demands. Without discipline, your mind becomes scattered, your energy divided, and your goals slip further away. But when you train yourself to focus, you gain the power to direct your attention like a laser beam, cutting through distractions and channeling your energy toward what truly matters. Focus turns big dreams into practical steps, and discipline ensures you stay consistent long enough to see results. Success is not just about setting goals. It is about keeping your eyes on those goals when everything around you tempts you to quit or drift off course. Mental discipline is the ability to say no to short-term pleasures in order to achieve long-term fulfillment. It's waking up early to work on your dream when it would be easier to sleep in. Choosing to practice your craft instead of wasting time, and committing to habits that serve your future self. The disciplined mind understands that success is built on consistent effort, not occasional bursts of motivation. Motivation may inspire you to start, but discipline ensures you keep going even when motivation fades. Focus also requires clarity. You cannot concentrate on everything at once, and if you try, you end up spreading yourself too thin. That's why the most successful people in the world are often the most selective. They know what they want, they prioritize it, and they eliminate distractions that don't align with their purpose. When you learn to focus, you stop giving energy to things that drain you and instead invest it into the few things that move you closer to your vision. Clarity of focus transforms overwhelming goals into manageable actions. Another key element of mental discipline is controlling your thoughts. The mind naturally wanders, and without training, it tends to drift toward worry, negativity, or distractions. But discipline teaches you to redirect your thoughts toward what is productive and empowering. For example, instead of dwelling on mistakes, you focus on lessons learned. Instead of entertaining self-doubt, you concentrate on building skills and confidence. By consistently guiding your thoughts, you condition your mind to become your ally rather than your enemy. Discipline also demands patience. In a world of instant gratification, it is easy to become frustrated when results don't appear immediately. But focus allows you to see the bigger picture. Great achievements take time, effort, and persistence. A disciplined mind understands that every day of consistent effort compounds over time. Just like a drop of water slowly shapes a rock, small daily actions eventually create massive results. This patience protects you from giving up too soon and allows you to stay steady on the path to success. The beauty of focus and discipline is that they create freedom. At first, discipline feels restrictive. Waking up early, avoiding distractions, sticking to routines. But over time, that discipline builds habits, and those habits free you from chaos, procrastination, and regret. Instead of being controlled by impulses, you take control of your life. Instead of drifting aimlessly, you move with purpose. Ultimately, focus and mental discipline are about mastering yourself. If you can control your mind, you can control your future. Success belongs to those who are willing to concentrate on their vision and discipline themselves to pursue it relentlessly. When your mind is steady, your actions become powerful, and when your actions are powerful, nothing can stop you from achieving the success you desire. Visualization is one of the most powerful tools you can use to create success before it physically arrives. Every great achievement begins twice, first in the mind and then in reality. The process of seeing yourself succeed, imagining the details of your desired outcome, and mentally rehearsing the journey toward your goals programs your brain for achievement. It's not fantasy or wishful thinking. It's a proven method of conditioning your subconscious mind to believe in possibility and to prepare your body and actions to make it happen. What you repeatedly picture in your mind becomes familiar, and what is familiar feels achievable. When you visualize, you create a mental movie of your desired future. You see yourself crossing the finish line, standing on the stage, building the business, or living the life you want. This mental rehearsal stimulates the same parts of your brain that are activated when you physically perform the action. That means your mind begins to train as if the event is already happening, making your body and decisions align with your vision. Athletes, performers, and entrepreneurs all use visualization to enhance performance because it helps reduce fear, increase confidence, and sharpen focus. By the time the real event comes, it feels less intimidating, almost like you've already lived it. Visualization also helps you stay motivated during difficult times. When challenges arise, it's easy to lose sight of your goals. But if you consistently visualize your success, you remind yourself of why you started and what's waiting on the other side of struggle. That clear picture of the reward pulls you forward even when your circumstances seem discouraging. It becomes a mental anchor that keeps you from drifting away from your dreams. The power of visualization lies not just in seeing the outcome, but in feeling it. When you imagine yourself achieving success, engage all your senses. hear the applause, feel the emotions of pride and gratitude, see the details vividly, the stronger the emotional connection, the more your subconscious accepts it as real. That emotional intensity builds belief, and belief fuels action. Once your mind believes in the possibility of success, you naturally begin to act in ways that align with that vision. Another important aspect of visualization is combining it with action. Simply imagining success without taking steps toward it is daydreaming. Visualization is meant to be a guide and a motivator that directs your behavior. For example, if you visualize being healthy and fit, that mental image should influence your choices to eat better, exercise, and care for your body. If you visualize becoming a confident speaker, that vision should push you to practice, learn, and take speaking opportunities. The mental picture sets the destination, but your daily actions are the vehicle that will take you there. Visualization also rewires your mindset by shifting your focus from limitations to possibilities. Instead of being consumed by doubts or failures, you give your energy to the image of success. This shift in perspective strengthens resilience. When setbacks occur, you don't abandon your vision. You adjust your approach while keeping the end goal clear in your mind. In the end, visualization is about creating success twice, once in your imagination and once in reality. By repeatedly seeing and feeling yourself living your dream, you program your mind and body to make it a reality. It builds belief, reduces fear, fuels persistence, and sharpens focus. If you want to achieve greatness, don't just work hard. See it first, feel it deeply, and then take relentless action toward it. The future you imagine is the future you create. Life is full of challenges, and no one escapes them. They come in many forms: failures, setbacks, financial struggles, broken relationships, or missed opportunities. What separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck is not the absence of challenges, but the way they respond to them. With the right mindset, every obstacle can become an opportunity, every setback a setup for a comeback, and every failure a stepping stone toward success. Challenges are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to strengthen you, to reveal your potential, and to prepare you for greater things. The first shift in mindset is seeing challenges as teachers rather than enemies. Most people resent difficulties because they only focus on the pain they bring. But hidden inside every challenge is a lesson, sometimes about patience, sometimes about resilience, sometimes about creativity. When you adopt the perspective that challenges are opportunities to learn, you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" This simple shift transforms frustration into growth. Instead of being crushed by problems, you use them to build yourself stronger. Another powerful mindset is to embrace failure as part of the journey. Too many people fear failure so much that they never take risks, never step out of their comfort zone, and never discover their true potential. But failure is not the opposite of success, it is a crucial ingredient of it. Every great innovator, leader, or achiever has failed multiple times. What made them successful was not avoiding failure, but refusing to let it define them. Each time they fell, they extracted wisdom, adjusted their strategy, and came back stronger. By transforming the way you see failure, you transform the way you see opportunity. What once looked like the end becomes a doorway to growth. Challenges also force you to tap into creativity and resourcefulness. When things don't go as planned, you are pushed to think differently, to innovate, and to find solutions you never would have discovered otherwise. Many breakthroughs in life and business are born out of difficult times. Pressure has a way of bringing out hidden strengths and ideas you didn't know you had. If you shift your mindset to see challenges as opportunities for innovation, you stop resisting them and start using them as fuel for progress. Another aspect of transforming challenges into opportunities is building resilience. Life will always have ups and downs, but resilience is the ability to bounce back quickly. A resilient mindset doesn't deny pain or difficulty. It acknowledges them but chooses to keep moving forward anyway. Each time you overcome a challenge, you build mental toughness, confidence, and faith in your ability to handle whatever comes next. This resilience becomes a competitive advantage because while others give up, you keep going. Most importantly, challenges reveal character. They strip away comfort and force you to decide who you want to be in the face of adversity. Do you give up, complain, or blame circumstances, or do you rise, adapt, and grow? When you choose to see challenges as opportunities to prove your strength, you develop a mindset that cannot be easily broken. Ultimately, success is not about avoiding struggles, but about transforming them. Every obstacle you face carries within it the seed of opportunity. If you train your mind to look for that seed, nurture it, and grow from it, no challenge can hold you back. With the right mindset, what was once a burden becomes a blessing, and what was once a setback becomes the very thing that propels you toward your destiny.